Hey guys, this is Nick here, back from Sessions Motorsports, and today we are bringing you this beautiful Lady in Red. That's the name of this buggy. This is kind of based off one of our Wrath buggy packages that we offer, but it's spiced up a little bit. So first off, there's a lot to cover on this thing, so let's just start right up here in the front. The front of this chassis is quite unique to our regular chassis. The gentleman that we're building this car for, he kind of wanted to go with a little bit of a rock bouncer theme and wanted to show off the heart of this beast, which we'll show in just a minute, which is the motor. So up front, you can see we started off right off with the old Baja Design LP6 lights, a Warren 9RC winch. Looking down here at the front axle in this thing, this is it's a beast as usual. This is a Crane 14 bolt with the 4-inch axle tubes, all 40 spline, ARB air locker, 538 gears, and of course a full hydraulic PSC steering system on the front. And it's coupled with 4-wheel steer. It's got the PSC steering system on the back also, which we'll get back to there. Shock travel on this thing, it's got 16-inch Fox 2.5 3.2 bypasses with 16-inch Fox 2.5 coilovers. Pay attention to the amount of up travel this car has, sitting at this ride height right here. So this thing's ready for some serious fun. Engine is this thing is it's awesome, is what it is. So we started out with a 500 horse LS3 from GM Performance Parts. And then we added a 3.0 Whipple on top of that. This thing's making right at about 11 pounds of boost. And she's rowdy. It's about 750 horsepower on 91 octane. It's got plenty of room if a guy wants to do E85 or like 110 race gas. You could bump it up even more. So it's safe, fun, and just nasty. So hopefully you'll get to see some of that. Let's go around to the side here and we can kind of go over this. We run our classic Wilwood brake assembly. So it's got a manual brake assembly on it with all Wilwood pedal assembly, Wilwood brakes on all the good stuff. Kind of take in a little bit of the detail of the back here. It's got a 25-gallon fuel tank right here with an Aeromotive Phantom in-tank fuel pump setup. If you look up top here, it's got this sweet fill that we did, so it's easy to get a gas can, or you can go, it's like it just runs on 91 octane, so go straight to the pump and fill it up that way. That scoop up top is kind of cool because it's got the heat exchanger for the supercharger inside of it, and it also ducts air to the radiator, and the radiator's in the back here. You can see, look up here on the front, the coolant is fed through the chassis to the rear radiator, utilizing the chassis tubes as a kind of a heat exchanger to help dissipate the heat of the chassis. On the back, speaking of radiators, what we always use, it's got a Ron Davis cooling package in this thing. As I've said before, these things are just solid, well-built, quality construction, and they just function. So the ECU and this thing's set up with Switch Pros electronics. So the fans are all controlled through the ECU, and then it has a backup mode through the Switch Pros. If for some reason the ECU didn't turn one fan on, the Switch Pros will override it and turn it on. So that's a pretty cool feature also. It has a winch in the back also, for kind of whatever you want to use it for. It can be used for suck down, rear recovery, working around the property, whatever you got. It's just a little 4,500 pound UTV guy. You can see the sway bar on this thing. This is a 35 spline 300M sway bar that was custom built for this car. And then obviously we custom fabricated these arms on here to make it work. The links on this thing, it uses a 2-inch 70/75 aluminum link. All the links are from Summit Machine. And then it's got 1.25-inch rod ends on all of the links on every joint of the vehicle. For drive shafts, it's got 1410 drive shafts, front and rear. And again, let's check out this rear axle on this thing. This is another Crane 14 bolt, 4-inch tube, 40 spline, Crane knuckles, all the good stuff, 538 gears, and an ARB air locker also. You can see that PSC double-ended cylinder on there. You can see those Fox air bumps in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tire and wheel package on this thing. So it runs a 43-inch Interco Super Swamper SX Sticky on a Trail Ready HD 17-inch wheel that we spiced up with a little red powder coat to match the chassis. All of the body panels are aluminum on this car, inside and out. And they all have a little bit of a bead roll detail. So if we take a look at the rear panel, take a look at those hot rod tail lights, you can kind of see some of that bead roll flare. That's done in every panel on the car. So if you look at like the radiator scoop, the overlay panel that kind of hides the fuel cell, we try and put a lot of detail in our builds and do as much hot rod flare as we can. On the inside of this thing, there's a lot to talk about. It's got PRP Comp Elite seats. They're obviously red with black ostrich accents. It's got a PRP suede steering wheel. It's got PRP 2+5 harnesses in it. As far as the gauges go, it's super simple in there. It's got just 3 gauges, all it needs. It's got oil, water, and trans temp. Those are custom gauges we had built. Pretty awesome. They light up red at night. You can see the Switch Pros switch panel right below that. And then that Element fire extinguisher, which we put in all of our turnkey builds. If you guys haven't heard about those, you should look those things up. They're really, really awesome. They have a really long discharge time. And they're super small and easy to mount and just super handy. The 2 switches above that fire extinguisher, those are for the air lockers. We run a CO2 power tank setup for the air lockers. And so what that does is eliminates all the electronics in the ARB system. And it's just a more reliable, robust setup with like less failure points. So some more details on the inside right there. You can see the rear steer joystick. You can also see that all of the shifter knobs are Sessions Motorsports anodized billet shifter knobs that we machine and build right here in Colorado. So it's got a pretty awesome grab handle on the other side. Take a look at that bad boy. That means business. Get in, sit down, and hold on to that thing. So that thing's mounted on a steering wheel quick connect, and it just lifts out. It's super easy to get in and out. Here in a minute, we'll hop in the car and we'll take a look at what it's like when you're driving the car and the visibility that you can see in there. Okay guys, so a little bit of a view from the interior on this car. This car is going to be used for everything. So it's going to be used sand, rocks, Tennessee, Utah, Idaho, South Dakota, Colorado, all those places. And it's really just an elaborate, awesome, do everything buggy. So because of that, it's got pretty epic visibility when you're sitting in the car. You can kind of see over there, that's the passenger side front tire. You can see that footrest to brace the passenger up in so they can really get aggressive with this thing. It's set up with a full rugged radios, communication and headset setup with Bluetooth music. And so it's got that going on it. Again, there's a view of that Switch Pro setup, those custom gauges. As you can see, this is the driver's side as you're looking out of the car. Tons of legroom in here. Set up really well. Some cool detail on the steering column setup that we did. And then we'll jump back out and take some more on the outside. All right, guys, so a couple things about our chassis lineup at Sessions Motorsports. We offer a 2-seat trail, a 2-seat race, a 4-seat trail, and the 4-seat can be modified to race also. Our race chassis is called the Outlaw chassis, and it's kind of a completely different design, and it's very catered around like King of the Hammers style racing. It's all CAD design and set up that way. Our Wrath chassis is a do-everything chassis. So the Wrath chassis is super adaptable. With our packages that we offer on our website, this is a Wrath chassis just catered to the customer, which is our specialty, because there's no 2 people are alike, and not everybody's going to use a buggy the same way. And some people are going to wheel in one area all the time, and some people have the ability and want to use the car all over the country. This guy's an example of that. He wants a car that's going to be fun hill killing in Tennessee. It's going to be ripping up the dunes in Sand Hollow, but also playing on the hard rocks in Sand Hollow. And then something he can take to South Dakota in the summertime and just enjoy an awesome day on the trail and conquer any trail that's in front of it. So our chassis are super adaptable. We also customize our chassis and offer a lot of options. So things like bypasses, different up travel setups for different areas, different motor packages, everything from a small block Chevy to any LS combination to a Coyote to a big block Chevy. So they're all adaptable and they all will work in these chassis. This chassis is actually stretched just a little bit right here because the gentleman that owns this car is 6'4". So for reference, I'm 5'11". So this guy's 6'4" that owns this car, and so the cockpit's stretched a little bit farther than we normally do, just to give him extra legroom and to make sure he's super comfortable in this thing. If you kind of take a look at these things, the Wrath chassis is laid out pretty weak. We have a couple of different widths we offer, and so it's just, again, based off how the car is going to be used and whether or not we put a body kit on it, what hood and grill we offer, because we have a lot of different packages that we put together for these things. So this car, for what it's being used for, the type of environment it's going to go and the gentleman that owns it, it's been an awesome project. It's the perfect name, the Lady in Red. It's kind of the ball of the bell, and it kind of steals the show wherever it goes. It's a beautiful car. We're excited to have had the opportunity to build it. It's been awesome getting to know this guy, and he's going to have so much fun with this thing because it is a beast. hope you guys enjoy this video. We have a bunch more stuff coming out, guys. Just keep an eye on the channel. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe, like the footage, and we're gonna keep putting it out. Until next one, have a good one, guys. See ya.